Hi boys and girls, today with your guest teacher you're going to be working on light source and how that light source acts on an object, and the materials you're going to need today are chalk pastels and a Sharpie. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to start with deciding for yourself where the light source is going to be in your picture. And your light source at this point, you can just draw yourself a little sun, you can give it a face, and you can put it toward any edge of your paper. So I'm going to add my light source right here, and I'm going to show that my light source is traveling in this direction. It's going to be traveling toward a pumpkin I'm going to draw. So there's no really right or wrong way to draw a pumpkin. Let's explore a couple of possibilities. One way you could draw a pumpkin is that maybe you're going to draw your pumpkin by making some sort of a circle or an oval, and then you go back and you like to add a rectangle or a square for the stem of your pumpkin. That is an awesome pumpkin. Here's some ways that you can make that pumpkin look even more realistic would be by adding little crescent-shaped lines to it that go directly from the top of the stem to the bottom to what's called the blossom end. And if you add these as you go, and you put in a couple of those, it gets into that sort of pumpkin-y bumpiness that you might be looking for. That's up to you. You'll decide how you're going to draw your pumpkin today. Here's another way that you could try to draw a pumpkin. Again, I'm going to start with deciding where my light source is going to be. This time it's in a different place, and I'm going to try a different kind of a pumpkin this time. This time I think I'll start with an oval for the center of my pumpkin, and I'm going to add those crescent moon or banana shapes to the sides of my pumpkin, alternating right and left. Do I like a tall skinny pumpkin? Do I want a much wider pumpkin? Starting each time at the top, wrapping all the way around my pumpkin back to the bottom. When you feel like your pumpkin is the right size, maybe you could add a more whimsical stem than just a square or a rectangle. You could add one that's a little bit wavy. It's up to you. You could add a little curl for the vine that it was attached to. That's your choice. You're the artist. But what I really want you to think about today is a light source and the direction that that light is shining on your pumpkin. And it doesn't matter what your light source is, the moon, the sun, a star, a light bulb. What matters is this pumpkin. We're going to be cutting out these pumpkins when we're done. So it doesn't matter if you make a mistake out here, outside of your pumpkin, because that is, including our light source, is all going to get cut away. So what you're going to do is you're going to start by remembering some things we've talked about in previous years, which is that when a light is shining on an object, that's the side of the object that's going to be the brightest. And the side that the light is not shining on, that's the side that's going to be the darkest. So you're going to start with your lightest colors, maybe even white, over on this side of your pumpkin. Maybe you're going to put some yellow over on this side of your pumpkin. It doesn't matter if I go outside of the lines because I'm going to be cutting that off. So make sure you go easily on yourself. You really can't make mistakes with this. It's a very forgiving material, these chalk pastels. Now if I went and I colored in the whole rest of my pumpkin orange, it would be okay, but I think that even on this darker side, it's going to be even darker than it is in the middle. So maybe I'm going to reach for a red or a red-brown, and I am going to make that, so I'm using the side of my chalk pastel, and I'm going to make the bottom of my pumpkin and the side of my pumpkin away from the light even darker. Maybe I'll go back in with my orange, mix that with the brown a little, and deepen that pumpkin-y color. This is a good time for you to get your hands dirty. So go in with your fingers and start to blend, following that crescent shape. We're working on making these pumpkins into a form. That means we want them to look three-dimensional. That's why we're applying this light source to them. So I'm working from lightest to darkest, and I am trying to enhance those dark areas by blending in with my fingers. It is never polite to take all this dust and blow it across the table at another person. Pick up your paper, take a second to walk to the garbage can, tap it out over the garbage can and come right back so that your powdery dust doesn't end up in another person's face. Treat the stem the same way that you just treated the pumpkin. Don't worry if you go outside the line. Apply where you think the stem is going to be the brightest, some bright colors. Maybe your stem will be green, maybe it'll be brown. It's up to you. Maybe it'll be green and it'll be brown. And then you're going to take your finger again and you are going to blend carefully those colors together from the lightest side to the darkest side. Not worrying about if it goes outside the lines of the pumpkin that you drew for yourself, knowing that you're going to eventually be going in and cutting out this pumpkin, liberating it from all the fingerprints and mess that you might have in your background from your fingers. I think I'm going to push my darks even farther. See how far you can push yourself as an artist. Today, I am not going to add any kind of a face to my pumpkin. It is not a jack-o'-lantern today. Today, it is just a pumpkin, and I want you to focus on making that pumpkin be not flat and to make it start to feel like a form, round and spherical through your work with light and shadow.